So this is how to cut an Arabic reed pen, also called a qulam. Okay, so these reeds that have been shipped to me have their knuckles still. And you can't cut a reed pen with the knuckle still there. They're shipped this way because it helps provide rigidity and helps prevent cracking along the reed while it's shipped and while it's stored. So you don't want to cut that knuckle off until you're ready to use the reed pen. For cutting the knuckle off, I use a utility knife. If I can, there it is. Find my utility knife. And what I sort of do is I kind of go around the edge of it and just press in a little bit, and a little bit, and a little bit. You could probably also use a very fine-toothed saw for this, but I don't have one right now, so this is what I'm doing. And it will eventually pop. You have to be careful while doing this not to crack your reed. You don't want to put too much force on it. You want to just keep working at it. There we go. And now you can see the hollow end of that reed. And here's the knuckle that's come off. All right, so the next thing we want to do is we want to take off this U sort of shaped piece. And the sizing of that is based on the size of your thumb. Your thumb should rest in that curve beautifully. So where that first knuckle is, back, should follow the curve of your thumb. And again, every calligrapher's reed is going to be different because every calligrapher's body is different. And what's sized right for you is what's right for you. So I measure back to where my thumb is. And I make this cut with the utility knife. So you can either hold it and do it this way using the thumb on your reed holding hand to push. Or you can brace it here and pull against your thumb here. Now, this way is the way least likely to crack your reed because that reed is up against the squishy part of your thumb and you can put a lot of pressure on it without cracking it. But it goes against every knife safety tutorial I've ever done. So we're gonna hold it this way. And again, I'm pushing it against that fat part at the base of my thumb to help make sure it doesn't crack. Right, so that's about the right spot. And you're gonna make a bunch of little cuts. You're not gonna try and make this in one go. Oh, well, that happened in one go. All right. Now, I've gotten the basic cut, but it's not quite right. I want it to be a little bit deeper. And for the fine work, after I've busted through the skin of this reed, I like to use a scalpel instead of a utility knife. The shape of it is better for a couple of cuts to have this curved edge, but I also find that I can get finer amounts and I have more control using the scalpel. All right, so we're testing the size of that again. And I can't, one of the things I'm looking for when I do this is I'm trying to make sure that it's even on both sides and then it's not twisting my thumb back or forth either way. So when you look at it this way, both sides are pretty parallel and I'm pretty happy with that. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to work on this tip. You see how that's a half moon shape right now? We need it to be a straight line to do the Arabic calligraphy. So I'm going to clean up this side a little bit more because that wasn't quite right on this side. And then I'm going to go back onto this side, and this side needs a lot of cleanup. And again, I'm using the scalpel because it's got more finesse, more control. If you're using a harder reed, like a bamboo, you may have to use the utility knife for more of these cuts rather than the scalpel. This is a fairly soft reed. It's pretty good for beginners. Let's see. That's flatter, but not quite where I want it yet. Yeah, that's reasonable. All right, and now the width of this is wider than I want my Arabic calligraphy to be. So what's fun with Arabic calligraphy is that the size of your lines is based on the width of your reed, because you do this and you make boxes, and they're called nukta. And 6 nukta high is the height of your alif, which is this tall letter right here. And you can see I've got some of these boxes on the side. The pen that I used, I wasn't sizing things correctly on this. But that's the size that I'm going for right there. And I have resized my lines based on those nukta to try and get things the right size. So this is much too wide for those size nukta, so I need to take it down. And we do that again with the scalpel. And I do 2 or 3 of these on each side. That way it comes in evenly. Oh, unfortunately, I have made an error, and that's now come to a point rather than a flat tip. So I'm not happy with that. So I'm doing that. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try cutting the tip. Let's see if I can get this. There we go. So I take the scalpel and I rock it back and forth on that curved edge. And you do it that way to help prevent cracking in the reed. Okay, so we've got our line again instead of a point. And I'm actually pretty happy with the width of that, but let's see if the curvature of that is still okay. It's a little bit shallow. You see how my thumb isn't as deep on it as it should be? The shape of it is okay, but the point doesn't come out as far. But you know what? For today, I'm going to call it good enough. So there's one other cut that you can do, but I'm not going to. I'm going to show you how to do it and what it's for, but I'm not going to do it. If you're a more experienced calligrapher, you want more ink on your pen than just a reed like this can do. So you want 2 tines with a cut in the middle of them, the way that you see on European metal pens. So again, you rock back and forth. Here we go. Hang on, let me get that in focus. You rock back and forth on that curved edge right in there. Okay, so just like that. I'm still a fairly new calligrapher, so I don't want that much ink on my pen. I can control it better if there's less ink. It's easier to go over it again than to have blotches that you have to deal with. And so the final step of this is testing the pen. You use a little bit of sandpaper to make sure the edge is nice and smooth. And then you take your ink. And Arabic ink has liqa in it, which in this case is raw silk. But you can use just a kitchen sponge. And it helps regulate how much ink gets on your reed, because too much ink on your reed will make your reed too moist, and then it'll become mushy and you won't get fine lines. All right, and then just some nukta on the side here. Okay, I'm getting nice even ink on that. And a couple of squiggles. Dip my pen in ink again. Yeah, that's not too bad. So that is an Arabic reed pen.